Welcome all of you. This is we are trying to approach what in the earlier lecture I was saying. I was telling you about the third dimension in Walter Benjamin, because when we did the piece on the art of the work of art in the age of mechanical technological reproduction, then we saw that it felt like he's taking us too much into the what is called the optical unconscious, the ability of or the new trend, new as in the 1930s, with the rise of cinema and all kinds of possibilities of technological reproduction, mechanical reproduction of the work of art, that humans could put in their subjective soul into it. So that meant a possibility for a much more autonomy, actually, much more freedom, quote unquote, but freedom not in the bourgeois sense, but freedom in the sense of where the surroundings, the reconfiguration of the material surroundings itself carries the subjective soul of the masses. So, and their montage and Charlie Chaplin's ability to break movement into mechanical parts plays a role. And then we saw also with the notion of gambling, that how in gambling there is also that possibility of a mechanical push. And there's this piece on that is written on some motifs in Baudelaire, in Charles Baudelaire, where Benjamin tries to in fact compare the motor, what should I say, the mechanical psychical experience of gambling, and the jerks that one gets, and the kind of incitement, excitement that the gambler experiences with what the worker experiences at the factory floor. So all of that, we can't go over the entire thing. So it felt like with Benjamin, we are talking about how experience is kind of getting mediated increasingly by and through technological processes. And it felt like just that there is a kind of a, going like a vertigo kind of a thing, going further down into some kind of empiricism of the technique kind of a thing, the empiricism of material reproduction. So what is where is the political subject? So where does the articulation happen? Where does the mass which kind of enjoys the destruction of the aura of the work of art and find its subjective soul? Where does the masses themselves, where are they able to really create the if you will, their own future? Where does this all kind of converge? We have to ask this question for at least a very empirical reason, because all of this, as we saw in the build up to fascism, all of the experiences, including the experience of the soldier in the trench, all of this is actually building up into the Nazi myth. So it would be foolish to just think that one could just get into some kind of a flight, one kind of a nomadic exit from because the breaking down of the experiences of the the notion of material reproduction has that thing in it where we saw that with the critique that comes with the rise of cubism, with the rise of abstract art, formalist art, and then we saw that with the avant-garde. I mean, I'm talking about people like Picasso, or you have someone like who proposed, who's also from Russia, and then I'll just remember the name in a minute. So, who was a major influence in the entire, formalist abstract art, whether it's Paul Klee, even Jacobson also plays a role here. Well, not as a painter or an artist, but as a theorist. And then in the Soviet avant-garde, we saw the destruction of the impressionist painting, of the narrative as completely bourgeois. So it does open up a plurality and multiplicity and all of that. Um, so that, in a way, if you fast forward to, say, the 60s, and the kind of trends in popular culture, in films, or generally also in critical theory, the rise of postmodernism and multiple truths, and there's no grand narratives. In a way, one might end up reading Walter Benjamin in the work of art and his essays on Baudelaire, the bodily sensorium. We touched on that, right? We also touched on how in the Indian context we can also look at the urban experience, say in a city like Bombay. We talked about Monto and our own Namdev Dhasal and everyone. So, but if one were to not really try to just limit Benjamin in understanding in that way, then his notion of time, which is connected to the notion of political subjectivity, becomes important. And that's where we had to kind of pause, even though we planned to just directly go to Hannah Arendt's essay on the masses and the mob in her book on totalitarianism. We thought we got to pause and like take this thing. So so today is just a little curtain raiser, a little uh, little this thing, just on the notion of time. So that's all we are going to do. So okay, there is some messages here. The class is supposed to happen on Tuesday. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, it's not Tuesday. Okay. And thus okay. I see. Okay, Gaurav, that's fine. This will feed onto it. So that makes my task easier for tomorrow. Um, so, um, uh, so what I'll do is I'll just end this lecture today, considering that I put it for Tuesday. I just thought it was Monday, or maybe I thought it's Tuesday, and then I thought today is Tuesday. So I'll just tell you guys, and you share it with the others, Gaurav. There is a film I want you guys to watch called Antiviral. Huh? So this is a film. Uh, yeah. So this is a film called Antiviral Film. So watch it and come tomorrow. So the other thing I want to tell right now is that is is anything else? Yeah. So, but I think this should be fine. So watch this film and watch some of the debates around it, and I will see you guys tomorrow. But keep in mind the initial intro I've already given about how we are coming from doing Benjamin in the work of art, and the necessity, in fact, an imperative of why we must actually focus on his notion of time, without which we are not really able to see how his entire take on technological reproduction is supposed to illumine, it is illuminated by something, you know. So this entire theory and his entire project, his engagement with cinema, his engagement with gambling, his engagement with, say, laughter, the collective laughter, his theory of distraction, all of that is actually illuminated by his notion of time. And that's where we will see there is a kind of a strong Marxism that is going on in Benjamin. So I'll stop here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.